A recent study used infants to investigate the origins of purposeful action, showing that agency emerges from the relationship between an organism and its environment. Using a baby mobile experiment, researchers demonstrated that when infants recognize their ability to cause motion in the mobile through their movement, they transition from spontaneous to intentional behavior, marking the birth of agency. New research from Florida Atlantic University reveals groundbreaking insight into the origins of agency using an unusual and largely untapped source: human babies. Since goal-directed action appears in the first months of human life, the FAU research team used young infants as a test field to understand how spontaneous movement transforms into purposeful action. For the study, infants began the experiment as disconnected observers. However, when researchers tethered one of the infants' feet to crib-mounted baby mobile, infants discovered they could make the mobile move. To catch this moment of realization like lightning in a bottle, researchers measured infant and mobile movement in 3D space using cutting-edge motion capture technology to uncover dynamic and coordinated features marking the birth of agency. When an infant's foot is tethered to the mobile, each foot movement causes the mobile to move. Positive feedback amplifies and highlights the cause and effect relationship between infant and mobile motion. Recent findings, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, provide a solution to this age-old conundrum. Analysis and dynamical modeling of experiments on human infants suggest that agency emerges from the coupled relation between the organism, baby, and the environment, mobile. But how exactly does this happen? When an infant's foot is tethered to the mobile, each foot movement causes the mobile to move. It was thought that the more the mobile moves, the more the infant is stimulated to move, producing yet more mobile motion. Positive feedback amplifies and highlights the cause and effect relationship between infant and mobile motion, said J. Scott Kelso, Ph.D., senior author, and Glenwood and Martha Creech, eminent scholar in science at the Center for Complex Systems and Brain Sciences within FAU's Charles E. Schmidt College of Science. At some critical level of coordination, the infant recognizes its causal powers and transitions from spontaneous to intentional behavior. This aha moment is marked by an abrupt increase in infant movement rate. A recent study used babies to figure out how purposeful actions start, showing that babies learn to act by interacting with their surroundings. Using a cool experiment with a moving baby toy, scientists showed that when babies realize they can make the toy move by moving themselves, they start acting on purpose. This is like the birth of doing things on purpose. New research from Florida Atlantic University discovered something amazing about how we learn to do things using a surprising source: babies. Even when we're just a few months old, we start learning how to do things with a purpose. The team at FAU used little babies as their testers to understand how simply moving around turns into doing things with a goal in mind. In this study, babies started out just watching what was happening. But then, the researchers tied one of the baby's feet to a moving toy. The babies figured out that their movements made the toy move. The researchers used advanced technology to measure how the baby and the toy moved in 3 dimensions. They were looking for signs that the baby realized they could make things happen on purpose. When a baby's foot is tied to the toy, every time the baby moves their foot, the toy moves too. The baby gets excited and starts moving more, and this makes the toy move even more. The recent discoveries, shared in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, solve a puzzle that people have wondered about for a long time. By studying how babies learn, and using math and special tests, they found that babies learn to do things on purpose by interacting with things around them. But exactly how does this happen? When a baby's foot is tied to the toy, every time the baby moves their foot, the toy moves too. At first, people thought that when the toy moved a lot, it made the baby move more, which made the toy move even more. J. Scott Kelso, Ph.D., who is a smart person and a top scientist, said, "When the baby realizes they can make the toy move by moving their foot, they get excited and move more. This excitement helps them understand that they can cause things to happen. It's like a light bulb moment for the baby. Suddenly, they start moving with a purpose, and you can see it in how fast they move. Our discovery shows that it's not just when babies move a lot that's important." Mention Nancy Jones, Ph.D., who is one of the authors and a professor at FAU's Department of Psychology as well as the head of the FAU Waves Lab. After thoroughly studying how babies move, how the toy moves, and how they interact, we found something interesting. We realized that the process of understanding how to do things on purpose happens in bursts, and is like a self-organizing event. This means that the baby goes through moments of activity and moments of stillness, and both are significant. The babies in our study taught us something deep. Even when they're not moving much, they are still doing something. And even when they are moving, there are moments of quiet. Both of these states tell the baby important things about the world and how they fit into it, said Kelso. How they move and when they pause work together to help the baby understand that they have the power to influence the world around them, with purpose. This study from FAU also showed that babies figure out how to move the toy in different ways. We noticed patterns in when and how much the babies moved, suggesting that there are specific observable patterns in how babies discover their abilities. Understanding these patterns can be very helpful in taking care of babies who might need extra attention early on.